So the NPD sales for the best-selling games of 2024 so far have been released, and it looks like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is doing just fine, which is what we're going to discuss in today's video. So if any of that sounds cool to you, feel free to click the like button, and if you're new here and you'd like to stick around and help support the channel, you can leave a comment, subscribe, or smash the bell icon with a / to stay up to date with my latest uploads. Even doing just one of those things really does help me out a lot, and it's always appreciated. So this information comes to us directly from Matt Piscatella, who I believe is one of the heads of Circana, who are the people that track the NPD sales for a number of things, including gaming. From digital sales to physical sales to sales of collector's editions to even accessories. They track all of this stuff, and they track it not with actual sales numbers, but by ranking it via dollar sales. And the NPDs have been a go-to, staple, reliable chart for a lot of people within the industry for so many years, so if they put stuff out, it tends to be pretty reliable. And I do want to note that Matt Piscatella did get interviewed a few months ago by Kyle Bosman, who I'm a huge fan of, and with him keeping in track with all of these NPD things, Matt noticed that the younger audience is actually shifting away from consoles and they're moving over to mobile and PC. That's where they're noticing the biggest growth with the youth market, and I just thought that was super fascinating on how the younger crowd is, moving away from consoles. When I grew up, we were all about consoles, but I think the ease of use of PCs, you can get a pretty good PC these days for maybe around the cost of a console. It's probably much easier for kids to link up to with their friends on a computer. They don't have to pay a monthly subscription fee to play their favorite games. You can just chat on Discord and make content. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting little factoid that Matt Piscatella provided for us. Now, to get to the NPD list itself, the reporting period for these dollar sales started on December 30th of 2023, and they ended on June 1st of 2024. And if we look at this list, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is at number 5. So it's the 5th best-selling game of 2024 so far. And it's even more impressive when you consider it's technically the best-selling console exclusive on this list as well. Not counting Helldivers 2 because that's on PlayStation 5 as well as PC currently. So it's not technically a true exclusive, while Rebirth is only available on PlayStation 5 as of right now. And being number 5 on this entire list for 2024 is incredibly impressive. And what this signals to me is that Rebirth has legs, which is really good for the game. And I'm pretty sure that Square has some sort of internal roadmap, maybe like a 16 or 18 month roadmap of how they're going to plan to grow sales for Rebirth, much like Yoshi P did for Final Fantasy XVI. It'd be interesting to see what that marketing roadmap for Rebirth is, and if Square will actually reveal it. But this is a pretty good sign. Now, there was a lot of doom and gloom when the game came out because Square was kind of sheepish when it came to their reporting of sales numbers. They didn't really list all of the proper sales that came out within the week, which kind of signaled to people like, oh, Rebirth might not be doing as well as we all thought it was going to. And when it was last reported from some people within the industry, I believe within the first month of sales, Rebirth sold 2 million units. Now, to me, 2 million units in 1 month is incredibly impressive. Now, it is a far cry from, 3.5 million units in 1 week like 7 Remake did. But again, there's a lot of circumstances that go into a sequel not performing as well as its predecessor. Remake benefited from releasing in COVID when everyone was at home. It was also, again, like I've called it before, the impossible game. No one thought 7 Remake was going to happen or ever come out, and it did. And then, of course, you had people that loved it, you had people that hated it and didn't want to play Rebirth, and then you also have to consider Rebirth is locked to the PlayStation 5 right now on one single console, which sucks, unfortunately. Now again, all of this is tracked via dollar sales, but if I had to throw an estimate out there for a actual number of what Rebirth is doing, I would assume it's probably sold well over 3 million units by now based on its chart position within the NPDs for the best-selling games of 2024. So that's really awesome. And again, these are numbers that are going to be boosted when the PC version of Rebirth inevitably gets announced and released. And this happens quite often for video games, especially exclusives. We saw it most recently with Ghost of Tsushima, which recently released on PC for the very first time. And it was the best-selling game of May.
It's gonna be me.
And that includes PC sales and console sales. And what's really crazy is that Ghost of Tsushima coming out on PC not only meant that the PC version sold really well, but that also boosted the numbers for the game on the console side. And it jumped from the 71st position all the way to #1. So that's something that could happen for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. When that game gets announced for PC, a lot of people might go, oh, I forgot about that game, or maybe now's the right time to check it out. So they'll either buy it on a PC or, actually have a PlayStation 5 to go and play it on, which is really cool. And that's what you want. You want more word of mouth, and you want more people to get involved and purchase your game. And I think there are probably a lot of people that hold out to play these games. Some people, maybe were turned off, like I said, by 7 Remake, so they didn't want to play Rebirth. Some people, believe it or not, want to wait until an entire trilogy is released before they jump on board and play the entire thing. Yeah, seems kind of crazy. There's no way I could do that. I'm just way too impatient. And one thing that I can't help but notice, again, this is all anecdotal, but it really seems like over time there are way more people who are discovering Final Fantasy for the very first time. One of the people I like to cite is a content creator by the name of Kastaclysm. She's on Twitch and YouTube. She's wonderful. She's got an incredible community that is so generous and supportive, but she tried Final Fantasy for the very first time in June of last year, and it was with 7 Remake, and she knew nothing about Final Fantasy going into it. She didn't play it growing up, so everything was new to her, and she played it and liked it so much that she ended up playing Final Fantasy 16 later that year, and she played Rebirth right when it released. So there's always new people jumping on board and finding the series for the first time and becoming big fans. So for Rebirth to be in the #5 spot, again, it has legs, and it really does seem like this game is like slowly being drip fed to people out there, and it's doing really well, and that's pretty reassuring to see. Again, these are US rankings only. We don't know how well the game is performing outside of America, but Final Fantasy lately has been doing really well in America versus Japan, especially if you look at releases like Final Fantasy 16, which did exponentially well here in America compared to its Japanese sales. And then of course, that roadmap I mentioned, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff planned for the future that will help boost the sales of Rebirth. Maybe we could finally get Tifa into Tekken with Tekken 8 as a special DLC guest character. I'm still holding out for that to happen. Come on, Harada, please don't let me down. It would just be so sick if Tifa made her way into that franchise. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. It just makes sense. There's been a long rumored collaboration between Fortnite and Final Fantasy VII in the works, which I'm sure once Rebirth gets announced for PC, somewhere around that time, they'll probably announce, hey, Cloud, Sephiroth, maybe Tifa are joining Fortnite, which in turn could boost sales for that game because Fortnite is one of the biggest games still in the world. And it's kind of like the threshold for gaming. If you're a character that's made it into Fortnite, whether you're from a video game or a movie or a TV show, that kind of signifies to the mainstream pop culture that, yeah, you've made it. You're popular, you're in Fortnite. That's a pretty big achievement. For me personally, I really loved Rebirth. Obviously it has its criticisms, which, I think are justified to a degree, but I still think this is a game that should be, surpassing 8 million units sold right now because I think it's that damn good. And if you're somebody who is still on the fence, or maybe you've come across this video and you've never played a Final Fantasy before, and you're deciding whether or not you want to play it, I would highly recommend it. Even if you're not interested in the story and you just want a game that has genuinely really great gameplay, character interactions, fun world to explore, incredible music, a game that all around just kind of ticks all of those boxes of what a great game should be, you should definitely check it out. It's phenomenal. So here's hoping that Rebirth continues to have legs and will continue to perform at a pretty steady pace, because it looks like that's what it's going to be doing for the remainder of the year. With that being said, that is the video. I am Curious Corduroy. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think so far of Rebirth being the 5th best-selling game of all of 2024 so far? I think it's a pretty cool achievement, but let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And also, do you guys think 7 Remake will cross over with Fortnite? It's been rumored for so long now. It's gotta happen at some point. Either way, I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.